Our next presentation is entitled, Providing Aid, Creating Poverty, the Problem of Foreign Aid. Please welcome Ben Wexler.
Wembley Stadium, July 13th, 1985. Queen, in all their glory, strutted onto the stage looking out to 72,000 raving fans. The stage was set. Freddie Mercury was about to give the performance of his life. As Mercury began belting out the opening lines of Bohemian Rhapsody, donated funds poured in from all over the world. This concert was the largest international broadcasted event of the time and was dedicated to raising funds for the heartbreaking Ethiopian famine. This was Live Aid. We can all think back to commercials displaying pictures of starved children in poverty-stricken environments, quick facts stating that people in developing countries live on less than $2 a day, that infant mortality rates in Haiti are 16 times higher than in the United States, and even celebrity endorsements. However, not all good intentions result in positive outcomes. From Live Aid alone, Ethiopia received $100 million. The result? The purchasing of weapons from Russia because of Ethiopia's corrupt leader. With corruption, drought, and famine continuing to run rampant in underdeveloped nations, is it possible that aid is causing more problems than it is solving? Therefore, while many developed countries believe that supporting underdeveloped nations through foreign goods can benefit third world countries, it is imperative for donor countries to end systematic and charitable aid because it creates dependency, limits opportunities, blocks incentives, and hinders prosperity. Donor nations have the responsibility to promote long-term instead of short-term development. In order to grasp the nature of funding, it is necessary to understand systematic and charitable aid. While systematic aid consists of government-to-government transfers of funds, charitable aid consists of donations through churches or non-governmental organizations such as charities. The introduction of these two forms of aid has proven to leave developing countries in a state of stagnation. Governments, societies, and economies fail to grow because of the cycle of aid dependency that engulfs them. Systematic aid hinders self-sufficiency that developing countries desperately demand. With a constant flow of aid in forms of clothing, money, food, and housing, why would anyone see a need to work for their own supplies? Growth cannot be possible without the incentive to carry out basic work. Because they see no need to gain money, and all of their necessities are provided for them through aid, incentive is non-existent. In effect, a constant reliance upon aid develops. While donated clothes may cover the backs of the poor for a short period of time, these garments undermine local clothing business in the communities in which they are donated. As a result, markets become flooded with subsidized clothes, and dependency on clothing increases. Donors believe that large aid shipments will be beneficial to the poor. Instead, small investments to empower natives and the communities are essential. While many believe that food subsidies will be beneficial to the poor, they only solidify starvation in impoverished nations. From the beginning of aid, economists have speculated that food aid was a poor solution to solving hunger in underdeveloped nations. They warned of the potential harmful effects of food aid on local agriculture. As a result, as predicted, food aid has resulted in a country's inability to maintain agricultural development. How? Food aid has directly taken away the ability for farmers native to these suffering countries to supply for their country. Because with a surplus of food, If food cannot be natively grown within a country, markets become flooded with subsidized products, and incentives to produce are destroyed. In effect, it is imperative for donated goods, for agricultural development to be built up within a suffering nation. If a nation cannot natively grow their own food, the problem will cease to end, and donor nations will have to continue producing for the suffering nation. Dependency lives on. Mailed pamphlets, provocative commercials, business promises, television programs, and celebrity endorsements have all been used as a false hope. Don't be fooled. Take away aid dependence, and an incentive to work will be instilled. If societies within these developing countries can grow into a workforce, the morale will grow. The well-being of the nation will grow. The economy will thrive. Now, the next time you hear the call to support a developing nation, think of the farmers taken out of their jobs by food aid. Think of the children taught to abstain from foreign goods by their elders in order that they can experience a future of self-sustainability. Be reminded that it was our heroic intentions that has resulted in the vicious cycle of poverty that we see today. The lives of millions around the world are on the line. Aid has caused more problems than it has solved. Nobody wants to be a beggar for life. Thank you.